Okay.
All right. Let's call this September Parks Board meeting to order. Can I get roll call, please?
Brandon Williams.
I am here.
Catherine Litzman.
Here.
Pat Caparel.
Here.
Christina Engelhardt.
Here.
Brian Burney.
Here.
And Megan Brewer is absent tonight.
All right. So approval of the meeting minutes, and it's just for the special meeting because we approved the regular meeting minutes at the special meeting.
Correct.
So just need a motion to approve those minutes from August 11th.
I'll make a motion.
Take a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Minutes approved. Going right into event summaries.
Yep. Event summaries. Things we've had. And remember last meeting I said we wouldn't go over event summaries till this one. We've had live in McCordsville, the second movie. We probably had, I don't know, it was just wasn't huge attendance at either of the movies. Probably 75 to 100 people. Just not real big attendance. I don't know if it's because we had canceled them a couple times because of weather and rescheduled or what, but neither attendance was real great on those. Jumping down to the concert, though, the concert went really well. Pretty much, I mean, there was space for people to sit and everything, but I mean, there was people all the way from the front of the lawn all the way to the back of the lawn. Pretty popular. I think people really enjoyed it. So that being said, I think going forward next year, you know, we reach out to our sponsors and we see about maybe doing another concert or two, maybe not as many of the movies, just because the attendance wasn't nearly as good at those as it was. So. But we'll have to reach out to our sponsors and see, just because cost of the concert is considerably more.
Is it more expensive? So who are the primary sponsors for the concerts right now?
So we had one main sponsor. So we had title sponsor GBC, and this year we had the My Board grant, which was another $5,000. So to go towards that program. So I didn't really hit sponsorship much harder after that on these, but we can again this next year. We can go after a title sponsor. I think GBC would definitely be interested in doing it again.
Sure.
Just a matter if we want to change that amount as far as what the title sponsorship is versus the others. So
Yeah.
I attended a free concert Saturday night put on by the Elkhart, Indiana Parks Department. I would estimate there were 15,000 people there. And they have an amphitheater in their place, which is like McCord Square, you know, with the sound stage set up and lights and all that. And they had the Commodores, and they played for about 2.5 hours, and it was celebration, and the whole crowd was singing.
very cool.
It was an amazing thing put on by a city that's probably about the size of what McCordsville is becoming.
Yeah,
It was their
I'm not sure we could fit 15,000 in McCord Square,
Well,
but
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
We might
to
get there
come.
eventually. They're like
Yeah.
a 50,000 people community, so they're 4 times the size of us right now. So we will definitely get there at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the reception for the concert was much larger.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to be a lot more people. Had people outside on their balconies and people outside on the lower levels that were throwing their own little parties for the concert and everything else. So
That's great.
people really seem to enjoy it. Jumping down, I'll let Nikki go over Cars and Coffee and what we got left with that.
Unfortunately, last month's Cars and Coffee was canceled due to weather. There was a storm coming in, and those guys aren't bringing their cars
No,
out
they are
right now.
not.
So our next one is this coming Sunday. Same place, same time at the Court Square, 9 to 11, although a lot of people get there when I do at 7. So that's coming up. And then the next one after that and the last one for this season will be October 5th, which is the day after our last market in McCordsville, which will be October 4th.
Expenses were high.
And going back to the movies versus the concert,
Mhm.
I pushed that concert a whole lot harder marketing wise than I did the movies. So that may have had some sort of an impact on that. So, you know, if we choose to do movies again next year, that is something that I can do to try to push those out even further.
So was there more vendors at the concert than there were for like a movie night?
No, they were about the same.
About the same.
But my marketing was heavier on the concert than it was on the movies, and I think that might have an impact on it.
Yeah, I know Nikki and I talked about possibly boosting some posts and things like
Mhm.
that, so may have to do that on some of our bigger events here going forward. Just to,
Yeah,
I've done community movies. I did a lot of them in the port, and there's just a lot of it matters on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We tried everything. We tried older movies like Top Gun and different crowd levels, and we tried the kid movies, and it just depends what else is going on that day, what the movie is, what the weather is. There's not a real like winning formula to it.
Especially if there's sports going on.
We even, well, I know Nikki did this for our movie. We let the community vote on what movie, and it still turnout was low.
Yeah.
and unfortunately, my marketing is fairly limited to social media, and a lot of our older residents don't have that. And a lot of the local businesses that I've tried to actually door knock and ask them if I could post flyers in,
Mhm.
a lot of them just won't let you do it.
No.
So, like, the post office wouldn't let me do it, which I know would be a big traffic area there. But, you know, other than Tim's, they let me put signage up. Coffee at the Crossing let me put some signage up. But that's kind of the only people around town that will allow me to do it.
We'll be able to repost at Old School Park now, and that'll get thousands of views.
Yeah.
Where it's going. And then also the community center will have a place to post too, so we have some more public forum spots.
Well, I was just gonna say, don't beat yourself up too much over it, because New York was the exact same thing. All right, and it didn't matter what the movie was, the attendance was always less than the concerts. And they ran the concerts there like every 2 weeks. Packed. Okay, people would show up early and set up their chairs, so, and it's indicative of here now too. You know, and to your point, doesn't matter what the movie is, could be an adult, could be a kid's movie, you're just rolling dice, you know, but for some reason, those concerts are just always packed. And it doesn't matter who's playing.
Yeah.
People show up, so.
moving on those, we've had we had this a long time ago now because this was almost, some of these were right after our last meeting. So, beginning golf camp, pickleball camp, and tennis camp all ran. They weren't huge numbers, but they did run. Once again, like I said, we talked about, probably won't do those with that same organization again. We'll just, if we do something, it'll probably be in-house, and we'll just hire out separate or run it in-house to ourselves. We had the Path to Fitness 5K. I did want to talk about that a little bit. We had 159 runners on the. We usually take the profits from this and we put them into the Parks Legacy Fund. And the profits from that were $3,000. So I don't know if we want to. Do we usually have them vote
We
to
just have a
approve
motion.
that?
We asked for a motion from the Parks Board to authorize us to move that money to the Legacy Foundation.
So, 159 runners. We had some good sponsors, and just costs for running a race are expensive. So, I mean, we're never going to make a ton of money on it. It's just, if we come out in the positive on it, then great, and we can put some of that money back towards. And
So was the feedback good on the path this year? Like the route?
yeah, people love the route again. It was the same as, we did the same route as last year. The only thing is I put it in my notes, is making sure that if we do the same route again next year, we need to make sure we have the B&B entrance really highly or heavily staffed, just because I guess it was really busy.
Makes sense.
Tim thought ahead like 5 minutes before and ran down there and manned it.
They're not open till 10, but there's the kiosk there, and what I learned is a lot of people go really early on Saturday.
Very
to get in
early.
line. And so I was glad I was there, but I kind of wish that I had some help. And then next year we'll have Big B Coffee open next to them too, so there'll be additional traffic. So
Yep.
we're also hoping we can get the trail connection on 700 in between Deer Crossing and Pinevale.
Okay.
And if we do that, we can actually route it all through neighborhoods and never hit the commercial area.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And stay off any major corridors, and that'll actually be a really nice change. So we're in the process of trying to acquire that right away for that trail connection. If we were able to do that, we'll get that trail connected before the next year.
So I think the other thing I put on the notes there is just, we did get a lot of sponsorship, but I think I'll add it as one of the possible sponsorship options is to sponsor the shirts altogether.
Mhm.
And that's one of our bigger costs. I think that would save us quite a bit of money and add towards our total in the end whenever we can deposit into the Parks Legacy Fund. So
What's that?
could be.
I have a comment, just an
ma'am.
observation when I was there. So I felt like in previous years, because when we were out on the street, so there's all the cones. So, people knew an event was there, and thus I think the traffic was cautious, that knowing there was that. But somehow I felt like the people coming in from 600 going into the neighborhood, like some of them were coming fast, and even though at that main intersection there was the police officer and his lights were on his vehicle. I mean, I think because if the officer was facing the other direction, some of these cars already came into the intersection as the runners are coming. So that's just a observation I want to make. I don't know. I know there was the electronic board signage,
Mhm.
but I don't know if something else needs to kind of let people know, hey, this is a 5K is going on here, because all
Okay.
the other stuff is on the parking lot of the, the fitness center and all that stuff. So
Good call. Yeah, we can add more signage there and
Yeah.
cones. So
I'm
Or I-
wondering if we could have a more generic T-shirt, could have the sponsors and so on from the 5K, but not have a date on it. And maybe it could be used for other parks events, because you have to kind of buy more than you are going to have runners, and you have some left over. And then they could have other uses around town. They could even be sold, I suppose, off of a rack in town
Problem
hall.
is the sponsors change every year. We don't get the same sponsors.
Well, I mean, you buy the shirts, and if you have 150 registered when you place the order, how many do you buy? Buy 125, somebody doesn't get them.
We have a cutoff date that you have to register by to guarantee a T-shirt. We usually buy a few extra, but we usually don't have a lot of extra shirts for that reason.
I just hope we get some more mileage out of them.
But we do want a motion, I guess, if somebody wants to
So
do
is
that.
Is it the $3,000?
It's just over $3,000. I can tell you the exact amount right there.
3,023.60.
$3,023.60.
And then move that into the what fund? The legacy fund?
The Parks Legacy Fund with the
Parks
Community
Legacy Fund.
Foundation.
I make that motion to move $3,023.60 into our park legacy fund.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion passes.
All right. Nikki, you want to talk about the market?
I kind of already did.
Okay.
We just have one final one coming up on October 4th.
Gotcha. And then some of you guys, two of the four of you guys were at Party in the Park. I think it was a pretty big success. I mean, we had
Amazing.
a ton of people. I felt like there were lots of positives to it. Really, I mean, I can't really see any negatives to it. I felt like the traffic flow was a little bit better this year than it was last year. Nikki had the suggestion of just doing the businesses and the vendors, or as vendors instead of doing the actual salespeople, and I thought that was actually a huge plus. I think it opened up and gave us more space. And plus, I think we have the market for those other vendors to
Yeah.
participate in. So, but yeah, I thought it was a really big success. I don't know, estimation on numbers is on stuff like that is always hard to do. But we did fill up the whole parking lot plus the side parking lot, plus we were still on the other side of the hill again this year. So I felt like we were probably about the same amount of people as we had last year. Just, I think we were a little bit more prepared parking wise for it. So
I was
But-
shocked at how busy the park was during the party in the park.
I mean, that's what I heard. I heard it was busy too. That's crazy that it was as busy as it was with stuff going on here. So
Yeah, I think people were really looking forward to getting the park open.
Crazy.
I just gotta tell you, hats off to you guys, because you ran an incredible event. There were smiling faces all night and not one complaint, not one, about anything. And that was the entire time I was standing in that tent, so.
That's awesome.
it's
Definitely
awesome
less
to hear.
Getting rid of some of those vendors from last year made it more open and just made everything flow better. And not having the climbing apparatus is the greatest thing ever. The great test.
Yeah, I will say we had a new vendor for all those items this year, and I think they were much better, much more prepared. Certainly,
Cleaner,
I think-
safer.
I think probably earned our business in the future
For sure.
for
I would
their
think so.
performance this one. So
We kind of discussed if the movie should happen at the end of it or just kind of end the event, but then the movie was really well attended. So
It was Minecraft, right?
yeah.
I guess if you do a movie, just have, the inflatables first.
But thank you to Pat and Megan and all your crew that you brought over. Your help was tremendously appreciated. So I really
We
am
had a great
thankful for
time.
you.
We really had a
Good.
great time.
Good.
Count us in for next year, we're there.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We just learned a lot too, like the doing the wristbands ahead of time and pre-registering.
And the waivers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They really, it was a great idea in theory, and we kept asking people when they came up, did you sign up? No, no, no. So for us up there in that tent, it was still basically the same as it was last year with people, but we figured out how to work the line. We were all out there having them sign up, so when they came up to the table, all they did was hand in the sheet of paper, got their tickets, their bands, and they were on their way. So we kept it moving all night long. The only negative is that, we were talking about it the other night, is not to have an attraction like
Right.
right in front, because they kind of like held up how they were lining up right there. It became like a mob instead of a line.
Yeah.
But-
we can adjust that for next year.
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
gonna say, if that's a negative, then that's the only thing.
And then also for the pre-registration, we can actually roll that out sooner, or at least 2 weeks prior to the event instead of just a few days prior. I think a lot more people, and if I push it out more, I think more people will be apt to do it.
Did they get a list of names?
For checking in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would register
Yeah.
through our parks website, and then at the tent, when people went to check in, we had an updated list as of that time, to give them their wristbands.
Well, we got, we hadn't decided whether or not we were coming, so that's why we didn't sign up
Mhm.
beforehand. Which was fine, because like I
Yeah.
said, with us working the line and not having them standing there filling out the forms, you had plenty of clipboards, and we had, I think, all 6 or 8 clipboards out at any given moment. So it moved. Nobody waited. That was the key. Nobody had to stand there and wait to get their wristbands. So I think that was the positive too.
Yeah.
I know I got a stack of waivers sitting on my desk. So.
So in comparison to the movie at the park versus this movie during an event, was there more people that stayed for this movie?
There was more people at this one. What I was concerned with is I felt like last year we didn't have as many as we did this year at the movie.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just a movie. I mean, sometimes it's just whatever the movie is.
That's true.
I mean, we had a good
But
movie
just trying
this
to
year. I think
through
that's
it, like,
popular stuff.
concert versus movie, but if you're watching a movie, it's a
Oh,
children's movie, and you already have your kids out here, maybe you want to stick around longer.
I mean, for me,
versus
I
having,
think there's
like, a
I think
date
there's
night for a
there's
concert,
absolutely
like,
a
trying to
place
figure
for
out that
movies.
balance.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
absolutely a place for movies. It's just, is it worth the cost that it costs us to do them?
Yeah.
The movies are very expensive.
Are they really?
So expensive.
Okay.
So you were spending at least $500 just for the rights to show it per movie, and then the rental of that LED screen is over $2,000. So
Okay.
we are at least $2,500 to $3,000 every movie we put on.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So then I'm
You
thinking,
get cheaper screens and everything, but now we're spoiled with the LED screens.
right.
Well, and you can't
No,
show 'em
and
till
I get
later.
that, but like,
If you don't have the
if I'm a
LED screen,
food
you
truck
can't start till
vendor,
dark.
and I've got the opportunity to show up here for a concert or a movie, or go somewhere else for a concert where I know there's going to be 3 times the amount of people there, I'm not going to want to come here for 100 customers. I want to go there for 300 customers. So trying to find that balance.
And that was some of the feedback that I received after the concert, was that they weren't happy that there was only one food vendor at
Mhm.
that time. But, you know, that being our first time that we've done that, we didn't know what to expect. And I wasn't going to overbook food vendors for them to
Yeah, because then they're wasting their time.
overspend and
Yeah.
wasting their time and money, and then they go home with
Mhm.
a bunch of food afterwards
Yep.
that they didn't sell. So, and like, you know, with my husband owning a food truck in the
Yeah.
past, I know that those expenses
Yeah, no,
exist,
100%.
and if you don't sell it, you are stuck
Yeah,
with
you're
it.
not reheating it and taking it back out tomorrow.
Exactly. So I
It's going to
don't
the trash.
want to have to do that to somebody else.
Yeah, agreed. So definitely a
the,
conversation for next year.
Mhm.
On the liability waivers, just to make everybody aware, there was a case in the Colorado Supreme Court decided, I think last week. It involved a young woman who fell off of a ski lift at Crested Butte. That mountain is operated by Vail Resorts, which operates ski resorts throughout the world. In Colorado, they have particular liability laws that protect the ski areas because that's a big tourism event for Colorado. This particular kid was a minor at the time. She was 16, and she fell off the ski lift and fractured her C7 vertebrae and wound up unable to walk. And her father sued Mountain Resorts, which is really Vail, owners and operators of Crested Butte, and overcame the liability release in court. The liability release is pretty specific. It states that when you buy a lift pass and ride the lift, that you've been instructed and know how to use it, and offers to instruct people how to use it. And this has always been their line of defense because people do fall off of them, get upside down, hung by their clothing and so off, get tangled up in it, and otherwise run over by it and injured various ways. But the resort operators have always depended on this liability release, which is signed when the lift ticket is bought and is printed on it and so on. And they've always won. This time they did not, and the verdict was reduced substantially, but was still $25 million, and they're self-insured. And they're talking about actually banning minors from their ski areas. So with the liability releases that we have, 2 things. One is the liability release is a defense that we can use if we're sued, but it doesn't prevent a lawsuit. What would prevent a lawsuit would be if we used a contract that's a 2-party thing, enforceable on all signees, and it would be a contract not to sue. If it's a contract, it's enforceable, and you can prevent the lawsuit, get it tossed if it's filed. This would be something to run by our town attorney, I think, but I would strongly suggest that we move to lawsuit prevention contracts. We could also include the liability release, but we need something that's enforceable on the other party that prevents them from suing us. And the liability release does not do that. It's just a defense, and it's getting easier and easier to perforate it, and just got perforated in a state that very heavily favors the ski lift operators as far as liability. You assume all kinds of liability when you go on that mountain on skis, and they got sued and lost.
Well, I'll run it by our town attorney and see what she says, so. That's all I had for event summaries, I think.
Sounds good. Do
you
you want
want
to
me-
get into upcoming events?
So we have a rugby camp scheduled. We don't have any registrants for it yet. I think it's just a bad time of year. But that doesn't mean we won't offer it next summer. So I mean, even if we don't, it doesn't run this this fall. We'll come back with it in the summer, and I think we'll get more response from it then.
Is it the same company that's running the?
No, this is
Is this
separate.
an-
This is
so
an
they-
actual
do they only
local
do
person. Yeah,
They
it's a
only do
local.
rugby.
Yep.
Okay.
As Nikki had mentioned, we have 2 more cars and coffee coming up. The last one, I believe we're going to try to possibly take the leader car to,
okay.
trailer it up and take it to, so that we can kind of show it off there. So, and we have 1 more market, and then trunk or treat, which will be held at Outlook Church
Is it
again.
Outlook again?
So,
Okay.
I think last year's trunk or treat, we estimated, 1,500 people were at. I mean, it was
I mean, we had the
slammed.
Hulk over there.
So it was slammed.
And I think it was really good for them too. I think they enjoyed hosting it and having the bathroom facilities, and didn't they have popcorn and stuff?
Yeah, they did have music and everything
Yeah,
else, and
The
it works out
setup
well.
was really nice for us. We don't have to do a lot. We roll in, cook some hot dogs, and they have bathrooms and
Mm-hmm.
music and trash, and it's a win-win for both
Yeah.
groups. But it's always busy.
It was so busy last year. I was not expecting it to be that busy when I showed up.
Well, I think right now we're
Is that
talking
Saturday?
it's Sunday.
Sunday.
It's early September, and we already have 20-something trunks signed up
Okay, nice.
already. So, which we have to limit. I mean, there's only so many we can fit in there, and still be able to park people in there. So.
We had close to 50 last year.
So yeah, it's
No more
but we've
than
already got
25
20
minutes
something,
office.
and it's September.
The
8th,
parking lot
so-
works really well too.
It's
because we've got
it's the
lots of
perfect
people
shape too. The way they kind of come in, walk around, big oval.
Keep the traffic to the outside.
So they got the 2 back parking lots for the people that can park, and then you can have the event up front.
Yeah. Works out real well.
We have tree lighting too.
Yeah, but that'll be after the next
Okay.
meeting. Nikki and I will actually, and it's not on air, so we'll have our tree lighting ceremony, which we have a 30-foot tree. It has arrived. I've gone out and seen it actually live in person, so
Look good.
looks really good.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's actually, I mean, it's a step above the ones I've seen, because the branches actually are 3-dimensional. They come out instead of laying flat like
Okay.
other ones that I've seen. So it looks a lot more realistic than the others. I mean, it just looks really good. But Nikki and I will meet here this week or next week about activities for that ceremony. That'll be up at McCord Square instead of here, and what we want to do there and how we want to do it. But that's after our next meeting, so
Yeah.
we'll have it on the next meeting too. So
All right, so moving on to old business. Youth Sports Park feasibility study final documents.
all right, so I put the final documents on there. Let's see if I can find out where I did with them. This is just the operational assumptions, which you guys probably have seen. I sent them whenever I sent the stuff out. So, talking about 4 youth ball diamonds, 2 rectangular sports fields, drainage pond, playground, parking, restrooms, concessions, things like that. That's just kind of a general overview of things, and then the actual pro forma, which you guys, I'm not going to go through everything. I'll let you look over it on your own, but it's because there's multiple tabs here, but it kind of goes through and talks about, if we were to, about rentals and things like that, if we were to do what that would be, how many people we could expect, and then forecast, all kinds of different numbers and everything. But like I said, I'll let you review those on your own and kind of see what they are. Then we also have the layout, that final layout that was sent. The first time they sent they did it wrong, but so this is what the final layout we were talking about could possibly look like if on the property that we had kind of identified. Obviously this is not a final, like this is what it would be, but this is kind of our concept of what it could be. If we did it on the property we looked at and completed it. So there would be your cloverleaf diamonds here, your 2 multi-purpose diamonds here, and then let me try to make this a little bigger here. parking lot, drainage area, probably like a playground or something over here. Just because, I mean, a lot of you guys have young kids too. You know that whenever you go to watch one kid at a play event, the little ones get dragged along and need something to do as well. So
Yeah, they end up becoming feral for 6 years.
so we would definitely want to have some kind of play area there as well.
So question, I know it's not the final rendering, but so I see concessions on here. So where would the concessions be in this picture? So I'm just looking at the park revenue concessions agreement. So do you know where is that going to be in the middle of the cloverleaf? Is it going to be?
Let me see if they put it in here. My thoughts would be it would be in the middle of the cloverleaf because that makes
Okay.
the most sense.
I mean, it makes the most sense. I just didn't know. But then if it's a
but even if there's football or soccer or anything over here, they still have a clear
Okay.
walkway to get to concessions.
so that'd be the assumption that's in the middle of the cloverleaf.
Yes.
So then we'll need some other type of building for equipment and
They need equipment.
Umpire area.
These are close, like, there's no place to put like stands or something for sitting, so.
no, I don't
There's
necessarily.
definitely adjustments in this that would have
Yeah.
to be engineered out. I mean, just ballparking back of Manhattan, this is an $8+ million park.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And it does, it's nice because it starts to fill a need. It's not by any means meet our needs, so we'd probably be adding a field here or there in other parks as well.
Yeah, there's.
But
In addition to concessions, there's definitely gonna need to be some type of like utility building for
Yeah. Mhm.
filling dirt. I understand it's turf, but there's gonna be other stuff, so figuring out where that's gonna go.
I'll tell you what we don't regret is the bathroom at Old School Park and adding the back room onto it, because we already have extra shingles and paint.
Yeah.
And that's where our IT equipment is, and yeah, it's hoses, just
Yeah,
all
I mean,
that
all the
stuff
things you
to
don't
get
think,
out.
I mean, like especially if it's turf, you're gonna want squeegees and stuff like that to pull water up the fields and,
Absolutely.
Yep.
yeah, okay. Great.
So, and then Old School Park update. You guys been by? You've
Yeah.
seen it. It's really popular, really busy. We should have the bathrooms open hopefully this week. 9 Star was out there actually today, which was 2 days earlier than I thought they were going to be out there. But I think they still have another group that's got to come from 9 Star to finish up. And then NITEC will connect everything so our cameras will work, our door locks will work. And then we can kind of go from there. What I wanted to propose to you guys, or have you guys give some thought to here tonight, is our restroom hours, because we will have restroom hours on those restrooms, because that they will be unlocked at a certain time, they will be locked at a certain time daily. My thoughts on it, at least for the remainder of this year, especially with when it gets dark and everything else, would be just 8 in the morning until 8 at night. We keep it simple. We put up some temporary signs. These are our hours for the bathroom signs. We can give it some thought down the line if we want to have different hours during different times of the year. We can always adjust those whenever we open them and lock them. And our operation of a lot of that stuff may change too. We may get to the point that we have to have staff come in and clean them on the weekends or something like that if we find that that's the need. So. Some of those things will have to be adjusted, but I think we're talking really just another month and a half that these things would actually be open, because we'll have to close them down for the winter and blow them out.
So did you say 8 to 8?
My feeling is 8 in the morning until 8
I
at
think it's
night.
too long, if I'm being honest.
You don't think dawn to dusk?
Because if we're thinking,
The hard
So,
part,
I
the
was
hard
thinking
part with
shorter.
the hard part with saying dawn to dusk is I've got to adjust the time.
Yeah.
so
Every
I was
time.
thinking more
So-
like 9 to 6, because if it's 8 o'clock in the morning, chances are you just left your home with small kids and you had them all take care of themselves before you left the house. Emergencies happen. It is what it is. But I mean, watching the kids get on the bus at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black. And then the times change. The clock changes in November. So it's going to be dark at 5. Nobody's going to be at the park from 5 till 8. Or the people that are at the park
Yeah.
that want to be in the bathroom aren't necessarily using the bathroom for 3 hours.
When's the time change?
November 2nd.
So November we'll be closing anyways.
Okay.
We could probably put on
So
I'm
November,
thinking like
November's
9 to
around the time when we will start winterizing stuff,
So that's
just
up to-
because we
I mean,
don't want
that's
to
up
have frozen
to
pipes.
Whatever
and
you
everything
guys
else,
feel,
so.
but I'm
We
more,
put a slider sign on that we could.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm more like a
I
9
never
to
leave
6
I was
because
like, I've never gone to a park before 9 o'clock, so with little
We had the
kids.
Eagle Scout project on Saturday, and I got out there about 8:30.
Okay.
It ended up taking way longer than
so
anticipated.
Maybe on the
But
weekends it's
There were
earlier.
kids already walking. It was packed the whole time, and they were walking. I thought the
Yeah, that's
interesting
true.
part
It
was
is
out
new.
that
There's
we're
gonna be more
back in
people.
walking from
Yeah.
Gateway Crossing in Old Town and
But
across the street.
they were already there and the bathrooms weren't working, so they were figuring something out.
I had several of them try to get in.
I mean, there's lots of
You know, that
trees.
thing.
Just saying.
I mean, the nice thing is
Yeah,
we
that's-
don't
that's big.
we don't have to be there physically to unlock them.
Right. You just
They
program
unlock
them in, right?
automatically, so I don't really see much of an issue with being early. I do agree with maybe we close them a little earlier, depending on whenever that may be. I mean, I don't know when it's getting dark nowadays, but like I said, we'll probably end up closing the bathrooms in November anyways, because we'll
Okay.
have to blow them out and winterize them. So
I think they ought to be closed by dark, because
Oh,
vandalism will be an issue after dark.
So I don't disagree with you, Dr. Bernie.
Right.
So maybe the first, if we do decide to do like 8 to 8 or 9 to 8, the first few weeks, especially since we're coming into what? They're going to be open for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
it gets dark, maybe have a patrol car. If we can talk to Paul, swing through there every so often, so there's a presence of people not wanting to. Hey, there's nobody, because kids are going to be kids.
Speaking of that, when I was
I'm
talking to
just
some
saying.
of the officers during party in the park, they were asking if they could get fobs to access those restrooms just in case.
Well,
Well,
their fobs work on it, so we'll figure that out with them.
Yeah.
Actually, they don't realize it's the same system, so we just gotta add the door lock to their
Yeah.
fob.
We had a patrol car show up when we were at the park.
Yeah, patrol cars
Yeah.
are going by there.
He got out and like walked around and talked to. It was kind of nice.
Nice.
So yeah,
It's a
sunset
highly
right now is
visible spot.
8:03
Okay.
today.
I'm
So
fine with whatever. I was just.
I agree. I don't really want to be open during dark, but I also want to make sure that we're servicing.
Yeah.
The reason we have the bathrooms there is to service people. So I mean, we want to service them as long as we can. You know, if it is light out.
I'm definitely less worried about
So-
the early morning hours and the late night hours. So,
I will
I
say.
mean, you could open them at 7. Nobody's gonna. I mean, if it's dark
I
outside,
agree.
nobody's
I
gonna be
agree.
in
I
there.
don't think
Yeah.
anybody's going to be in there, but I mean,
Yeah. I
On
don't
a
think
sports
you
side, I
can
know
really
the people who do baseball on the fields across were very excited about bathrooms being near them. I don't know when they're
Oh,
done
Mount
with.
Vernon.
Yeah, I'm not sure when their baseball's done, but
so are we all right with? I guess are we all right with 8 to 8 for
Sure.
this first 6
Yeah.
weeks?
Yeah.
We monitor it, see how it
And then
goes.
we just figure it out from there.
We'll have keys in the back room, which police, fire will have access to be able to get in the back room, grab those keys if they need to get into the bathrooms, for whatever it may be. They can also fob into the bathrooms from there, but they obviously can't undo the deadbolt with their fob, so they'll
Right.
be able to get in there, get a key to the deadbolt, and get into a bathroom if they ever need to for an emergency purpose. So, into that back room, and that fob system is right on the outside of the back door. So.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, they can get a hold of us and we'll have the ability to.
Remotely unlock it. Yeah.
that's cool.
Are you working on a sign plan for the old school park, Tim?
Yeah, we're, I was gonna mention that, so there's still several things we're gonna do outside the scope of the original one. The grading needs redone, we'll probably wanna replant grass seed, we're gonna change the design of the old school park sign because they put the flagpoles in the wrong spots, and that's fine, we're actually gonna simplify it into a single sign in the middle. We still have the rock with the plaque on it too that we get reinstalled, so it'll actually help us incorporate the limestone old school. So we're gonna work on that next. I was waiting to reconcile the remainder of the park bond, because we had several projects that are coming out of that park bond, so with change orders and everything, I was making sure that the spreadsheet I had matched the actual numbers before we got too deep on those. So we'll work on the sign next. We're moving some electric out there, adding some pedestals by the
That's probably the one miss we had, was we didn't run electric into the shelter. We missed that one, for crock pots and everything, and it would have been nice to add a light in there, so
Yeah.
we're gonna get it nearby, but I don't think we really wanna cut our concrete
No.
and blow it up, so.
I mean, if we could even make like a standalone post with an outlet on it,
That's
and
basically
people
what
can
we're doing.
and then people can run an
Yeah.
extension cord.
Yep, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have appraisal from a quote from an electrician to move the box. If you guys have seen when the trees were taken down, we've now have an electrical box that's sitting out in the middle of a yard for no apparent reason because it was hidden by the tree before. So
And we have additional signs, so we'll do the main sign. We'll probably do something else once the roundabout's done as well, just to kind of be along the road. And then we also have additional just park signage. We'll need signage on the bathrooms, we'll need park rule signs. So we don't want to over-sign our parks, but we have our standard park rules in McCordsville Park, so we'll want to do something similar here as well. Same thing out here.
Is there like a bulletin board for, like you said, there?
Tim and I talked, today. I think we're going to put the big board that we had on the shelter before, possibly between the two bathroom doors. So we
That's a
can
great place
use
for
that
something like
for news and operational things, and then we'll put a smaller one actually that will be on the shelter that will be like the reservation times and stuff that people have. So whenever somebody has it reserved, they can refer to that sign saying that they have the shelter reserved. So if somebody's in there, they can refer to it and not have hopefully any
gracefully
arguments.
ask them to exit versus like
Yes.
prove it that
Yeah,
I
they can refer to the sign. We update it weekly that this is what the reserve times are. So
Do you think the Parks Board should work on like a uniform signage for all the parks coming in the future so that they kind of flow together and look with a similar brand and type of thing?
I reached out to the person that did our rebranding, and we talked about that exact thing, about possibly working up a contract to work. Fisher's just did the same thing. They put a new sign in every single park. They all look the exact same. We haven't gotten that far yet. That's something we probably do need to do at some point.
Another Parks Board project would be to work on a flag for McCordsville.
We're working on that as well. So we have a committee working on that.
We have 2 flagpoles at Old School Park, but normally you put the state flag below the American flag, and after that we don't have a town flag. But I was thinking, as a first idea, we could integrate the leader car into the flag.
I am very aware too that there are no flags up there yet. Very aware, but we don't have lights there yet. The electric's there, but we don't have lights.
Okay.
So
Are they supposed to be on there for playing?
I think it was part of the sign part.
Oh, that's right. 'cause it's
And
like-
we nixed the monument part, and when we nixed the monument part, we don't have lights. So I really don't want to be going out there and putting flags up and down every day. So I mean, until we have an answer to that,
Makes
we
sense.
probably won't have flags out there. So
That's good. We'll have to remember that to incorporate that.
it has to be incorporated in the monument.
Harbor Freight has a flag light that mounts on the pole that's solar. that lights
Yeah, there
up
are ones that go on the
24/7.
top, but
Yeah, I want them hardwired in there. That's why we ran the power. They actually cut our concrete to run it because they forgot to run the power over there. And then they, instead of boring under the sidewalk, they cut right through the brand new concrete. I wasn't really happy that day.
I'm sure you weren't.
Anyway, yes, flags, the flag and the signage and universal signage are all really good ideas, and we'll circle back on those. And the park board will absolutely be involved, especially on the kind of universal signage aspect of it.
Sounds good. Community center update?
all right. So community center is moving fast.
Good.
In fact, if you guys are interested, we can run over there after the meeting if you guys want to check it out and walk through real quick. I did check with the guy over there that's running the project. He said that's fine. So if you want to check it out and see it afterwards, I'm more than happy to run over there afterwards, let you in. We can walk around. but it is moving along. They've got drywall up. They're close to working, I think, on ceilings. They've
Next week, they said,
they've got the curbs are already out done in the front, like where all the doors were. Those are already up and in. They've got bricks taken out basically almost everywhere. I think pretty much that they needed to remove bricks on the interior walls and the exterior walls. It is NITEC's been out there and running all the cables and stuff for the data and everything else.
it's gonna be a lot of natural light in that building.
It is.
That's good.
That project is flying. So
Not Christopher Burke, Hazard Charles Brandt, who's doing both this project and that project, has been phenomenal. They communicate well, they're moving so quick on both projects, and they're doing really good work. So we've been real happy so far.
Minimal change orders and stuff like that.
Minimal change orders.
I mean, there's always going to be
have-
stuff that pops up that you just
The
can't
way we
foresee.
structured it in the guaranteed maximum price, we had value engineering that we put back in as contingency, so we've only had one or so instance where we actually had to pay a little bit more than our guaranteed maximum price has all been built in. And the thing I liked about Brant is they do a lot. I was getting frustrated because they weren't starting, and it was like mid-year, but they do so much front-end work with vendors, with subs, with ordering product, so it will be there, so there's no delays, that when they start.
So when the physical work starts, they just go.
And now I really appreciate that.
Okay.
At the time, I'm like, everyone's wondering when this community center is gonna start, now I'm like, oh, it makes sense now.
Do we have a rough idea of like grand opening date or
So,
start date?
The only thing making me nervous right now is site work. We're not
Okay.
starting site work until after this weekend, Lord's Acre Fest. So, and we're trying to line up, we're going through some process so we can change order in the extra parking lot where the
Okay.
church is as well. And we had to go through a zoning issue with that. And so we're getting all that done, so they can do it all at once. So hopefully they'll get that done and be ready to pave before they close plants in November.
That'd be nice.
They're targeting, we've told them since day one, we want to have our holiday parties there and to kind of work out the building. So I anticipate us hopefully being done in early December.
Okay.
In fact, I think we have a lunch bet down on that one.
yeah, we do.
There you go.
So
Who's got the
we'll be
who's got the
done in
under?
early December.
She's got the over.
And then we'll kind of use December. Other things Park Board and Dan's working on this is it's a brand new building. We need an operations manual. We need policies for everything. How do you rent? How do you clean? What do renters? What are they responsible for? How do we leave it? What happens in emergency plans? We have to have all the emergency plans in place. A lot of signage. So once they hand the building over, we'll still have some of that to put in place.
Makes sense.
And so I figured we'd do some town events in December and just kind of do some lighter events early 26 before we really open it up to the public, the first part of 26, just so we don't fall on our face right out of the box.
Yeah, I should have something for you guys to kind of look at and review come November. So
Will you plan on Santa being there instead of here?
we plan on Santa being at McCord Square.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't figured out that logistics though because we don't know where Santa's going to be, so we have to figure that out. Because we talked about the community center. And we have some other switching that over to McCord Square sounds great, and there's definitely some logistics. Like we probably won't have the middle school band now because we have nowhere to put their instruments or warm up. We still probably will have the choir because they can warm up differently and they don't have cases. So we're gonna have to figure all those little details out about moving forward.
Yep.
Will that be part of Jim Bell's purview for the building plans?
Yes, he'll be
He'll be
in
involved
charge
with-
with facilities.
So he'll work with Stan on the buildings?
Yep.
And Christmas wise, or Santa wise, I did speak to McCord Square, the apartment managers, this past weekend, and they even offered up like their lobby if we wanted to do like Santa in there and everything like that. So they did offer up some indoor space. So if we decide to do Santa pictures there and do them indoors, and we need to have them indoors, then we have a space to do that. So
In future years, we might shift it where we have Santa come in on a fire truck or something, light up the tree, but we actually have separate hours where you can come visit Santa, maybe on a different Saturday or something like that. We'll just, the town's evolving, we gotta evolve these programs to kind of meet it as well, so whatever works makes the most sense. But we're hoping we can be up for, because I think that building's gonna get rented all, we're gonna have to really, beginning of the year, block off dates that we
want for
need
ourselves.
programming,
Mhm.
for the church has certain times where we can't use that lot, our programs, meeting times, and then open it up to the public, because I think it's gonna be rented a lot. It's gonna be a popular building.
And we'll use our online rental process to do it too, so they don't have to come in to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
600 properties.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so everything's progressing. We have appraisals done on the homestead property. Unfortunately, we were going to do the initial offer through the redevelopment commission, but I didn't get the second appraisal till the day after the redevelopment commission meeting, because that's the way of the world. So I'm probably going to call a special meeting to authorize initial offer, because the initial offer is the average of 2 appraisals. So
Right.
there's not a lot of thought behind it. We just have to get authorization.
Is that through us or through
That's
RDC?
through the redevelopment
Okay.
commission. We're using their legal process to acquire property. We're using park impact fees for the purchase.
Okay.
So it's really just using the conduit tools. I have ordered the appraisals on the round barn side. We had waited, the owner had wanted us to wait a little bit longer, but he was fine moving forward. So we're about a month behind on the round barns. We have signed contracts with the structural engineer on the round barn and the larger barn on that one. And then we have also ordered Alta surveys for both properties. So we'll have Altas for both, which is a good rule of thumb when we purchase properties for parks. So make sure you know the boundaries, make sure there's no surprise easements, things
Yeah.
like that.
So will that come back through us, or will that go back to the RDC before it comes to us? Since we're using their process.
It'll come to you when we deed it over. Well, that's an interesting discussion I need to have with council and our boards.
Okay.
Typically, the Parks Board holds most of the property. The redevelopment, unless it's a redevelopment commission that is holding the property for redevelopment purposes, what we've been doing, like the parking lot on Depot Street and then the community center, we've been deeding those from the redevelopment commission to the town.
Okay.
So it's all the town when you get down to it.
Right.
However, in most scenarios, it actually deeds to the park board. And our attorney has actually advised that that's where it should be held. So at some point, we need to sit down and discuss, especially parks, right? But we've been putting everything in the town of McCordsville name. So basically, it's under the purview of the council. And we just need to sit down with our attorney and the council and say, where do we want to put this? Where's the most legally sound to put these properties? So based on insurance, just holding property. We own quite a bit of property now, so it's just a process. So I use the redevelopment commission to acquire because they have the most flexibility. If we went through the town council, you can offer them the average of 2 appraisals and that's it. You can't negotiate if they
Right.
reject it. I've had that happen once in my life.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
all-
go to the redevelopment, so if they reject it, I can then negotiate and go back with a counter offer.
Okay.
So
So it's all contingent on like the structural engineer's report and survey and that kind of stuff?
we won't close till we have the structural engineer report.
And there's a phase 1 environmental in there too, right?
I haven't done the phase ones on them.
We need to know what's there
Well,
underneath.
it's mostly been farm. I don't typically do them if it's been
Yeah,
farm.
if there's an
in the
old
past,
gas
so-
station there and it's
So,
potentially an EPA site, we need to know that.
yeah, we can do phase ones. It's
So
just,
if
you're
we're getting
in,
property, we need a phase 1.
you're in $15,000.
Well, well
I
worth
don't
it.
know that.
I mean,
If it comes back that a phase 2 is needed, it's well worth it.
It is.
We need to know if there's old Indian cemetery there, all that kind of stuff.
Well, phase one won't tell you that.
It'll show what's in the records. It's a record search. It's not physical
It's an item
inspection.
record search.
Hmm?
It's an item record search for.
Well, it
contamination.
goes through the EPA sites, and before EPA was, when this was put up, it was USDA, there was no EPA. and some of the stuff was lost in transition.
So we're working through all that, and I know that the homestead would like to close by the end of the year, so.
Okay.
So, the only kind of interesting part, sorry, one last thing, on the appraisals for the homestead was that the gentleman who passed away that lived there was renovating the house. So it was interesting. I thought the appraisals came back kind of low personally. But they both accounted for, they both said there's about $60,000 worth of work in the house to do, because there's rooms with no drywall, there's a furnace in the middle of the house that would have to get moved, they're both bathrooms being renovated. And all that's fine. In our particular case, we probably renovated anyways, so, but that was the reason for the deduction, was work that would have to be done to utilize the house.
Gotcha. So this is just more of a curiosity question. Like, is this something like if the homeowner's allowed that we'd let one of our building inspectors just walk through it, just to give us their personal opinion on it? Because I mean, they look at this stuff all the time. So
We do that, we've done that.
we've done that in the past. Okay,
Yep.
just curious.
We
like,
just needed a structural engineer for the.
right, like
barn.
a physical document that says it's this or that. I just meant for like, you know, kind of behind the scenes. Hey, they might not have seen this on the report, but I'm noticing that, like, I mean, we've got these people on our employ, right? Why not take advantage of them if they have time, which I know they're probably super overwhelmed.
I wouldn't take, they'd love that, actually. They
Okay.
They love taking a sneak peek like that.
I'm just- If the homeowner allows it, I mean, I'd be okay with it.
They've been really good to work with, both properties have,
How
so,
about a termite inspection?
we haven't done a termite inspection.
We have not.
No. I've
There's a
never
lot
done
of old
termite
wood
inspection.
there that it have termite nests. They're endemic around here. If those beams have been eaten, we need to
Well,
know.
the structural engineer will see if there's termite in
I
there.
don't know, they're not trained in pests. They're trained in how it's built. You need to get a pest company out there to put a warranty on it. There's no termites.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's all we got for 600.
Yep.
New business. 5-year master plan.
I met with Deb from Cornerstone today
Yep.
to kind of get going on the 5-year master plan. We'll start kind of referring some possible stakeholder meetings to her to do here hopefully later this month, because she wants to put together a survey for trunk or treat that we can kind of distribute to people. Since it's such a large event, we can hit a lot of people there. We can do paper and we can do digital surveys. She did mention she wants to keep those short because she feels like she gets better responses whenever she doesn't make them real long. So,
So
but
is that
we'll
a survey
start.
that'll go on our website or a link somewhere else?
Yeah, that's probably something we can actually put on our website as well once she has that and puts it together. But we'll sit down and meet with her. We'll have some of the youth groups, other business things like that people that we work with quite a bit, kind of for these stakeholder meetings, just kind of give their initial thoughts on what they're looking for and everything else. By all means, this is not the public input meetings. These are just kind of to get us started, give us an idea of where this survey kind of needs to go, so that she
Lay
can do the
framework
survey.
for it.
Yep, so that she can do a survey for the trunk or treat, which hopefully we get a lot of responses there, and we can kind of work forward from there. So, but that has started. I just want to let you guys know that we have started working on that and moving on that. The other thing on there is Holy Cross Soccer. If you guys have noticed soccer nets, Holy Cross has been using old or Town Hall Park
Town Hall Park, yeah.
for games and practices. We did let them know whenever they started using it this year that it's temporary, because eventually we'll be building a sewer plant. So it might be something that they use it again next year if it's available, if we're at that point. So, but they are currently using it. It's one of those spaces that doesn't get used a ton, and it's kind of nice to have it be
Well,
used. So
Are they using any of the indoor stuff, facilities? Are we opening up for the restrooms and stuff like that? Okay.
We gave them we didn't want to leave the building open. We gave them a key fob with one person in charge that can let someone in if they really
Okay.
use the restroom.
So like an
And they're
emergency
only
access
using it
kind
because
of.
they're renovating over at their campus right now, so their field should be done by next year.
Okay. Just being a good neighborhood partner.
Yep, exactly.
Fine with that.
That's all I had.
All you got?
Is everybody on the Parks Board aware that Holy Cross has purchased property in McCordsville that's been annexed to town?
Yes, I've heard of that.
It's over in the northeast corner of Jacoby Farms. Not Jacoby Farms Development, but the Jacoby Farm itself.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
It was actually one of the places we were going to look at for the sports park, and then we found out
was
that
it
it was
really?
optioned out.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
they're probably gonna put
yep, the next day we found out it was optioned out.
We did, it was one of our like top spots. And
Yep.
it was gone.
How it always
Just
works.
like that.
How it always works, right?
Didn't even get a chance to look at it. For it, so,
So I'm assuming there's no public comment today.
I do have one thing, sort of public comment. I brought this just so you can see it. In Old School Park, you know, we had to put in that very expensive rubberized asphalt, you know what they call it?
People love it.
I think
Yeah.
so.
The spongy stuff that catches the falls that the insurance companies require. And I grabbed one of the buckets out of the dumpster. This stuff that they mix up with the rubber is a liquid and some kind of polymer. I got the bucket, I don't recall the name of it. But I just set it in my garage and I noticed it had this film on the inside and I pulled on it. And this is what the stuff turns into when it solidifies. And that process of it solidifying is why it's so critical for the temperatures when it's poured and cures. So I thought you might want to see what it is when it sets up that we've put in the park, mixed with the rubber particles to keep them in place. So I just
That's pretty
brought
cool.
it as,
Yeah.
you know, get to see it.
So
kind
that's
of
the
stuff.
inside of a
played.
5-gallon bucket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, it's like an
just a
epoxy
product in
resin.
an empty bucket that was being discarded and it's set up and that's what it made.
I would much rather fall on this than concrete.
It's really pretty soft.
That's pretty cool.
Want to, no, okay.
yeah,
So-
it's been a big hit. So,
Yeah.
You could
I
probably
sure
pour
have.
that on your new car, Nikki, and it would like protect it from shit.
I actually already have a film that's similar to that on that car.
Forgot to mention, we did, we had the Eagle Scout install the little library on Saturday. And
Yeah.
it looks really nice, and he had gotten donations for books, and we packed that thing on Saturday, and he left all the extra books, and we put it in our storage room.
hmm
Yeah,
Fantastic.
love that thing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a little thing in life. And I checked it Monday just to see how it had, made sure it hadn't tipped or anything.
It's probably empty.
A lot of the books, like 2/3 of the books were gone.
That's good.
Yeah.
So even that's in a much more highly visible spot that would get a lot more use. So
Yeah, the park's really busy.
Fantastic. So next meeting, November 10th, 6 p.m. right here.
day
Any other-
before Veterans Day.
What's that? Day before Veterans Day, that's right. Any other comments? Everybody good? Questions? Meeting adjourned.